What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to give you guys an urgent market update as Bitcoin has gotten a little bit of a spill to the downside. But to be honest, guys, this is a little bit of a relief in my opinion, just because we've been trading sideways for so long. We've been in a range, basically moving sideways for about a month. And if you zoom out far enough, we've basically been going sideways for 2 months, just separated into two tiny little sideways ranges, an upper range and a lower range. But we are now approaching a key level of support, and if you guys watch my live stream, you will be very familiar with this level. So in this video, I want to cover where I think Bitcoin is likely to head next. Are we going to hold this level? Do we have a little bit more down to go? I'm going to fill you guys in on all the sauce in this video, and more importantly, guys, I want to talk about how we actually got to this level, because there were some very specific things we were looking at on the live stream at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that was making us expect this move down to this specific level of support. And if you're out there trading something, especially like crypto, trying to anticipate these moves before they happen is absolutely key. And that's why I try to help you guys find this stuff on my live stream every single night. But I want to show you guys what we were looking at to expect this move down, because it was pretty clear, and it all has to do with the volume profile. So without further ado, guys, go ahead and smash that like button, and let's go ahead and jump right into the charts. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart, and I want to start off here on one of the higher time frames. We'll go over to the daily, and as you guys can see, we did get this breakdown, and we are starting to find a little bit of support on a level that should look pretty familiar to you if you watch my live streams. Now, first off, I'm gonna go ahead and cover how we actually wound up at this level, and again, what was making us anticipate this on my live stream basically since about early July. And it all starts with the volume profile, guys. As you know, we've been looking at the markets in terms of ranges. More specifically, we've been looking at this macro range pulled all the way from March 17th to our current price action, as well as a couple of more local ranges, such as this one up here. Let me go ahead and unextend that. You can see we had this little local range up here as everyone thought Bitcoin was going to break to $1 million. But then we broke down and we started trading in another local range right here between about 29,045 and, you know, with these deviations brought us up to about 29,975. But these are the three main ranges we've been looking at, and the reason I bring that up is because these ranges were able to give me insight into where price was likely to go next, aka it was this blue box down here between about $28,400 and $28,030. Now, there are two very specific things within this level that make it a strong place to look for a bounce. Number one, it is a local golden pocket, which we know price likes to retrace to before getting a bounce. Also, right underneath that level, you can see this line in pink. I know it's not that clear, but right here, you can see our point of control of our macro range is sitting right there at about $28,040. Now, how did we know we were going to come down here? Well, it all comes down to the macro range. When you look at this macro range, although there is a lot of noise up and down up here and even down here, when you zoom out and look at things from more of a zoomed out perspective, simply all that happened when we came above this level here and broke that $30,000 key psychological resistance level. Once we broke that level and started kind of bing-bonging up here, really all that was a deviation from our macro range. And what happens when you get a deviation from a range? Typically, we look for signals to go short in anticipation of getting sucked back into that range, and more specifically sucked in towards that point of control, which you can think of as a magnet. The point of control is the area where the most volume was transacted, or the price where the most volume was transacted. This typically makes the point of control act as a magnet, and that is why every time we deviate from a range, we expect to potentially get sucked back in and move down towards that point of control. Now, you can see this even held true on these local ranges. If I pull this local range once more, once you deviate above that value area high, you get sucked right in, not only towards the POC, but also the value area low. You deviate slightly below the value area low, and then you get a move back to the POC, and then back to the high, so on and so forth. So the theory remains the same, but this just happened more on the macro, and this is one of the things that was making us expect this move down to the POC. So once we broke below this value area high, we would look for a move down down and a retracement up to bearishly retest the value area high as resistance. Now, if you're in the Candle Mafia, I know you know once you break below that key level, which is the value area high, and you cannot get back above it, more likely than not, Bitcoin is more likely to go towards that POC, which is number one, why we were expecting this level to come in, and number two, exactly how we got here. So now to get to more of the saucier part of the video and probably why you clicked the thumbnail, and that is, where is Bitcoin likely to go from here? Now, in my opinion, guys, we are coming into a key level of support, obviously. However, I am a little bit nervous to go long right here. Now, I will say I am in a little bit of a degenerate scalp long, but please understand I know how to manage my risk. And although I won't get liquidated on this trade, if I did, it is a small enough amount of money that I can easily laugh it off. And I'm in a couple of different other trades that are covering that loss times 10. So please understand that. But one thing I will say here, guys, or one thing I am looking for is a move and a break of this wick low right here, coming in at about, let me get the exact number for you, right here at about 28,290. If we can break below this level, what this does is open up the possibility to actually come down and tap this POC. So although I am in a little bit of a degenerate scalp trade here, I am really only looking to take this up to these previous highs before anticipating a potential another move down. So it's not that we can't bounce here. You can see we could potentially put in a little bit of a bullish divergence here on the 1 hour if we can get this momentum wave to round off, and you will have your lower lows on price with your higher lows on your momentum waves, which does typically initiate a little bit of a bounce incoming. However, I really would prefer to see a bigger move down to tap that point of control, because more often than not, price does like to physically go down and touch these levels. So if we came down here, what I would really like to see is to come down to the POC and get more bullish confirmations such as divergences and other things such as money flow coming up on other time frames, as well as bull divs on other time frames, as well as looking at order flow, exo charts, all that other good stuff. You want to have more than one confirmation, or at least more than just a divergence. But what I would really like to happen is to come down a little deeper into this blue box, tap that POC, find some more bullish confirmations in the higher time frames such as the 4 hour, the 8 hour, and even the 16 and daily, the 16 hour that is. But really what I would like to see is a move down there with bullish confirmations on the higher time frames. So for the really saucy trades, I am going to be sitting on my hands for a potential move back down. Number one, big reason for that is that the 1 hour is setting up for a potential bullish divergence. We also have a fresh 90-minute red dot, which could easily bring us down a little bit more here, even if we see a local bounce. Like I said, the trade I'm in right now is really only meant to bring me up, max these highs right here at about $29,675. Now, if we turn on our VPVR really quickly here, I will show you that if we do get above this level, we may be able to get a quick move up to about 28.9, but I'm not betting the farm on that, guys. I am sitting on my hands for the bigger trade down here at a lower price. Again, coming in at that POC at about $28,040. Now, if we break down lower, guys, and we see some kind of a crazy move down and things get really exciting and the sky starts falling, people are going to be getting super bearish if we go for this POC. And even more than that, guys, if we get a move below that POC, we could be looking down to that 786 Fibonacci retracement level, which is coming in at $27,452. And you could imagine the people screaming for 8K incoming if we make a move for that 786. But this is going to be a big level to watch. Not only is it our 786 Fibonacci retracement level, but if I actually pull this golden pocket all the way to our low here at about 24,700, you could see that 786 and that golden pocket are in pretty good confluence down here when you pull those two different fib levels. And I'm going to go ahead and put another blue box down here because, again, if things get absolutely crazy, we would likely find some kind of a bounce at this level. But again, first level is going to be that POC coming in at $28,050. And guys, it's not just the bearish retest of the macro range that was expecting us to get a move down here, but you have to remember when you go up to a time frame like the weekly, this is something we've been watching for weeks on this channel, and that is the bearish divergence. This was kind of the first early warning sign that we were going to get a bigger move down. And if you guys watch the channel, you will know that my sentiment has been favoring the shorts. I've been more greedy with the shorts and more conservative with the longs. And a big reason for that is not only only that we had higher highs on our price action here on the weekly with our lower highs on our momentum waves, giving us that bearish divergence on the weekly, which is typically a pretty strong bearish signal. But not only was it that was making me expect this downtrend to continue, but it was also the 2-day money flow. And you could see as soon as this 2-day money flow crossed over into the red, right about here on, call it July 16th, this is where we were saying, hey, we're going to be much more comfortable shorting these lower highs and not looking for those moonshot longs at the lows. We were still scalping the longs, but we were looking for bigger short positions because our money flow was indicating a bigger move to the downside. So when combining things like the volume profile as well as having the money flow helping us identify the bigger environment or the more macro environment, we can make some pretty good predictions on where price is likely to go so we can find the highest probability trades. So guys, I think that's all the time we got for today's market update. Like I said, really sitting on my hands for a little bit more of a push down here before looking for the big long. Fingers crossed on that D-Gen long, but again, even if I get stopped out of that, I'm gonna laugh about it. It's a very small position, very, very risky trade there. I'm waiting for the higher probability trade to really drop that bag. But guys, I hope this gave you some insight into where I think price is going to go next. Now you have the key levels to the downside to be watching if we get a bigger breakdown. And with all that being said, that's all the time I got for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand.